Okay, we are back for another video. Before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Now, enjoy this video. Okay, we're back for a national championship preview for the college football national championship between the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers. What a matchup. I know many people probably want to see Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia. They enjoy seeing the powerhouses of college football consistently in the national championship game. But I got to be honest with you, I'm super excited for this matchup. I think it's going to be a terrific matchup. It's refreshing to finally see new teams get to this point. And this is all because of the transfer portal. I know people complain about the transfer portal, but without that portal, I don't think these two teams are here right now. You would just over and over and over again see Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, like those kind of three teams consistently pop up. Now that the transfer portal is in place, yes, there's a lot of problems with it, but now that it's in place, we're going to start seeing new teams, and I think it's going to be refreshing for college football fans. Before this preview, here's what I want to do. I want to talk about Indiana, and then I want to talk about Miami. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the things I like about each team, what I think makes each team great, and then I'm going to tell you how kind of each team can win this game, and then I'll give you my prediction. So let's start with the number one ranked team in the country. That sounds weird saying, the Indiana Hoosiers, and what I like about them. Indiana is by far the most dominant team in the country, and they are the most tested team in the country. They've gone on the road and beaten Oregon. They went on the road and beat Penn State in Penn State, which is very difficult to do. They beat Ohio State on a neutral field when Ohio State was playing as good as anybody in football. And then they beat Oregon again, and they routed Alabama in the Rose Bowl. They are the most tested and the most dominant team in college football. They are so consistent. They don't make mistakes. They might not have the high-end talent of a lot of these teams, but what makes them special is they are so connected. They are a well-oiled machine. They do not make mistakes. You will not see Indiana in this football game beat themselves. You're going to have to go out and beat them if you want to be the national champions. The things they do exceptionally well is on defense. They tackle really well. They stop the run. They get after the quarterback. They're great in their zone coverage. Nobody's just running free in those zones. Everybody knows what they're doing. They're a connected unit on defense. Offensively, what I love about them is even if they get stopped on first down, let's say with a run play and it gains a yard. Okay, now it's 2nd and 9. They'll run the ball again to get it to 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5. So then they're in 3rd and manageable. They are the best third down offense in football, in college. And I don't even think it's close. But the reason why is because they know how to get there. Even if they're stopped on the first down, they run it again so they can get into 3rd and manageable. They're so efficient on offense. I don't think they do anything spectacular. Mendoza's surgical. He throws the back shoulders as good as anybody in college. And their offense just moves, similar to their defense. It's just a well-oiled machine. That's really what I can say about this Indiana team. They are just a well-oiled machine. They are so connected. It's the most well-coached team I think I've seen in college football, maybe ever. The job Kirk Cignetti, Brian Haynes, Mike Shanahan has done for this football team, coaching-wise, has been a tremendous job. It's been fantastic to watch. This team is the most connected football team I think I've ever seen. Let's jump over now to Miami. Miami is dominant up front, and that's what makes them elite. That's what they've done through these playoffs. They've really gotten hot throughout these playoffs, and what's made them dominant is up front. They have dominated teams at the line of scrimmage, and that comes from their coach. Their coach has set that standard, Mario Cristobal. He wants to win the game up front. He wants to be dominant up front. That's how he thinks they are going to win this game, is up front. They try and take your will and physically dominate you. They want you gassed in the fourth quarter. They want you to give up. That's what their approach is. They're going to run it and run it and run it. They'll throw it too, but they want to run the football. They want to grind the clock out. They want to control the tempo. Their defensive line is probably the best defensive line Indiana will see all year. They have 2 probably first-round picks on their defensive line. They're elite. They've been special throughout these college football playoffs, and they are dominant. And if you let them get off, and they can get teams, and specifically Indiana, we just talked about how good Indiana is getting themselves into third and manageable, but if they get into third and long, that's where Miami can take advantage with this defensive line, because then this defensive line can tee off and get those edge rushers home to Mendoza. Their secondary is also elite, I think. I think they play with great instincts. I go back to the Ohio State game where their secondary just picked off the quick screen pass. You don't see that a lot, especially in college, but really across the board in any football league. That's just great instincts. That's coaching. That's knowing what to do. They are a special team, but they are built at the line of scrimmage. Offensive line, defensive line. That's where they are going to win this football game. They are not going to win it on the outside. They are not going to win it just kind of stopping Indiana, not allowing Indiana to complete anything or run the ball. They are going to win it on the offensive and defensive lines. All right. We've talked about the things I like, what each team does well. Now let's talk about how I think both teams kind of win this game. For Indiana to win this game, they just have to keep playing how they've been playing. So far in these playoffs, they've outscored their opponents 94-25. It's been total domination for the Indiana Hoosiers. And as long as they can keep playing connected, which I don't see a reason why they can't, because they've played connected all year, I think they're going to be an extremely tough team to beat. They've been connected all year. They've been dominant all year. I don't know how they get stopped. They're just a well-oiled machine. I've said that probably 20 times in this video. But they just keep coming. They're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to make mistakes. They don't have that high-end talent. So they can't just rely on talent to beat teams. But what they've found is how they beat teams is they're connected, they make the right plays, they don't give up big plays on defense. Offensively, they take care of the ball, they run the ball, they get into third and manageable. They're the best third down team in the country. And then on defense, they tackle really well, they get after the quarterback, and they're a great red zone defense. If you move the ball on them, they force you to kick field goals. That's another thing that makes them elite, is they force you to kick field goals. For Miami, they're going to need Indiana, like I talked about a little bit earlier, in third and long, consistently all night. That's how they win this football game, is allow that defensive line to tee off on Mendoza, get after him, and force Mendoza to make mistakes. That's the reality. They need Mendoza to make a few mistakes. They are going to need turnovers in this football game. They are going to need things to go their way. They are going to need a bounce. They are going to need a break. They are going to need a call. Because I think Indiana is that good. They're going to need to steal a possession. They're going to need to control the clock. Like, this team is going to need things to go their way if they want to have a chance to beat the Indiana Hoosiers. That's the reality. Miami's had a great year. But this is the best team they'll play all year. And they've played some really good teams. But Indiana right now is playing on another level than really any team I think I've ever seen in college football. And that might be a wild statement, but if you just watch them, they are playing on a completely different level than anybody. Than any team I think I've ever seen. And that's why I'm picking them to win the national championship. My prediction for this game is I have Indiana 31, Miami 17. And it's going to be, I don't know if it might even be that close. I'm kind of giving Miami some, but I think this could be a true blowout. I think Indiana is that good. And when this game is done, I think we're going to talk about Indiana as potentially one of the greatest teams of all time. That's how good they are. like I've said, they don't have the high-end talent. They don't have the high-end talent like Georgia had or Alabama or LSU in 2019. But how good have they've played as good as any team out of those teams that I've ever seen. And I think they're going to prove it in this national championship game and cap off a 16-0 undefeated season. I think the first time that's ever been done in the college football era. Yes, they play more games, so obviously all those other teams never had a chance to do that, but it's still special. So that's my prediction. What are your predictions? Leave them below in the comments, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and have an awesome day.